Sam Wilson is this film's biggest problem. This genius decides to lose. It's the stupidest goddamn thing I have ever heard. Captain America: Brave New World is a movie. It doesn't do anything especially good, but it also doesn't make me question my will to live. Truth be told, I had no intentions of seeing this movie. I just got bored on a Saturday and decided, let's see how it is. And by the time the movie was done, I felt nothing. Like, this film is the definition of bland, which, if you ask me, is a worse fate than being bad. At least if a movie or show sucks, I remember them. Granted, they're more like PTSD flashbacks than memories, but my point still stands. When something is so underwhelming, they tend not to leave much of a long-lasting impact, and eventually will fade out of memory, never to be talked about again. The reason I'm making a video about this film isn't just because I think it'd be a quick video to make while I'm working on 2 massive videos and editing podcasts. I mean, it will, but also because I realize that there's only really one big problem that holds the movie back. Okay, that's a lie. There are 2 problems, but they go hand in hand together, plus one big problem is a much better title. These 2 issues are the villain and Sam Wilson as a character. We'll start with the villain, as establishing his problems will become essential when we eventually talk about Sam. For context, the main villain of the movie is Dr. Samuel Stern, aka the leader, aka that one guy from the Incredible Hulk movies that it seemed that Marvel forgot about. Yeah, because of the ongoing custody battle Disney and Universal have with the Hulk, which I'm shocked is still a thing considering how Disney rules the goddamn world at this point, we have never got any answers for a lot of the setup from that movie. However, Brave New World strives to answer them. Turns out, after getting gamma radiation into his bloodstream, rather than Dr. Stern becoming ridiculously strong like the Hulk, he instead becomes incredibly intelligent. Once General Ross discovers this, he locks up Dr. Stern and makes him a deal. He will let him go to live on his life again if he helps Ross to become president. Which we see work, as Ross is inaugurated at the start of the film. However, Ross doesn't hold up his end of the deal, so Stern starts to plot his revenge. And here's where we run into the first issue with Stern. According to this movie, Brainiac over here has been helping Ross since practically the start of the MCU, making him weapons, giving strategies, basically putting Ross in the best position to succeed. Now, my question is, where the Christ was this throughout the whole MCU? Seriously, what has Ross really done besides helping to ratify the Sokovia Accords? I don't have a goddamn clue. I mean, he did diddly dick during 2 alien invasions, one of which happened on US land. So the reveal feels extremely lacking, and apparently Stern is the whole reason Ross is currently president. But you know what, there's honestly a problem I could look past and possibly justify, with enough alcohol. However, what I can't let slide is this villain who is so smart, he's able to come up with the probability of every possible outcome for the moves he makes. This genius decides to lose. I don't mean some I'ma lose now so I can win later bullshit. No. He's specifically choosing to lose. Let me explain. Every event during the start of this movie was put into motion thanks to Dr. Stern's interference. He's able to do this and stay in the shadows because he has learned how to brainwash anyone with a series of flashing lights. With this, he's able to control Isaiah Bradley and a bunch of other government agents to attack Ross during a meeting at the White House. Now you might be wondering, how the f*** does someone lose with mind control technology? Well, I'll tell you. After Isaiah gets arrested, Sam goes to talk to him in prison in hopes of finding out who's behind this attack. However, with no knowledge of what came over him, Isaiah tells Sam just to leave it alone and forget about him. Obviously, Sam wasn't going to do that, so he and his new Falcon Joaquin discovered that Isaiah and the other attackers experienced these weird flashing lights from their phones before the attack. With this information, they're able to trace it to Stern's base of operation, and during the confrontation with him, Stern says this: "Seems like even you're able to surprise me. There was a 75% chance that you would stay put after your talk with Isaiah." Okay, it's not an exact quote, but it's basically what he said, and it's the stupidest goddamn thing I have ever heard. You're telling me that you were okay leaving Captain America to his own devices rather than, I don't know, controlling him too? Plus, you were okay with a 25% chance of him finding your location? Hell, I'd be skeptical with a 10% chance of my plans getting f***ed harder than an OnlyFans model. But 25? It's not like Stern couldn't control Sam. I mean, in order to even activate this mind control, there needs to be an audio cue, so you must have had some kind of visuals on when to use this in order to get Isaiah to attack at the right time. And considering there's a scene where Sam, Joaquin, and Isaiah are taking a selfie together, all you gotta do is send flashing lights through that phone and boom, you win. God, I'm convinced that writers just shouldn't try to write these top-level genius villains. Do you understand how overpowered the ability is to be able to figure out what's the most advantageous step to take in any plan? For f***'s sakes, it's just as stupid as when a writer forgets their protagonist has super speed. Wow, season 4 of The Flash was dog shit. Regardless, with this giant oversight, Stern's plan completely unravels, and it all could have been avoided if he didn't choose to be a complete dumbass for 5 minutes. Now, believe it or not, there's a way to make this work, to turn this oversight into a positive for the story and the characters. But in order to do that, we need to understand why Sam Wilson is this film's biggest problem. Look, let's be honest here. The MCU never treated Sam Wilson like the proper successor to Captain America. Throughout his time as Falcon, his relationship with Steve was always sidelined to put focus on Bucky. Hell, it's why I always thought that the next logical choice for character development would be to give Bucky the mantle of Captain America, as a way to completely atone for what he has done. Sam was never given a lot to work with, and this same lack of any development is put on full display in this movie. Sam doesn't go through an arc, doesn't learn anything, doesn't have any of his beliefs challenged, and doesn't even facilitate change within the characters around him. He is the exact same person at the end of the movie as he was at the start. It's what makes this film so bland. Now, granted, there were attempts, but each one was either underdeveloped or fell flat. Two in particular stand out to me. The first one being Sam's lack of trust in Ross, believing that he will never change. He states this several times at the start of the movie, and it isn't until Sam learns that Ross is dying and is trying to do all this to eventually get his daughter to talk to him again that he starts to believe that maybe he's trying to change. However, the problem is that Sam is never punished for making that assumption. If you want to have a character learn something or have their view of the world challenged, you should have their prior assumptions have consequences to them. For example, what they could have done is have Sam bring Isaiah to the White House as a bodyguard type, rather than just a friend coming just because. At the start of the film, Sam is only playing nice with Ross in order to hopefully do good work as Captain America. Which, saying this out loud, makes me really question the side Sam took in Civil War. Regardless, let's take this skepticism and push it even further. Have him completely not trust Ross and only see him as the guy he was, not who he's trying to be. So when Ross invites him and Joaquin to the White House, have Sam ask Isaiah to go as extra protection. Isaiah will initially disagree, but Sam will be very persuasive and really try to push for this, leading to Isaiah eventually agreeing. And when he gets arrested, Sam will initially blame Ross. However, once he learns that Ross wasn't behind this and is truly trying to change, have Sam start to blame himself and confide in Bucky. That's right, Bucky's in this movie and is about to become a US congressman. Don't even bother asking me now. We'll save it for the Thunderbolts video. Anyway, Bucky can give him some sage advice, maybe also talking about a story with him and Steve. And this will help give the ending more of an impact, where rather than fighting him, Sam tries talking down a raging Red Hulk Ross.
Red Ross!
Granted, it's not a lot, and the idea definitely needs to be fleshed out more, but it's better than what we got. Which was nothing, mind you. However, there is one more idea, and it all revolves around the Super Soldier Serum. For context, when Sam is talking with Bucky towards the end of the movie, he questions if he should have taken the Super Soldier Serum. Maybe if he did, he'd be able to stop Stern. And we get some setup with this, considering Sam was having a rough time against a normal guy at the opening fight of the movie. But we need more of this, and a way to connect this with Stern, rather than it just being one line that just pops up towards the end of the movie. So what I do is at the start of the film, hint towards Sam's frustration of how much harder it is for him to take on one guy compared to Steve. Maybe even when he's in the army bar at the start of the movie, he can start to hear some talks of some other army guys saying how Steve would have gotten this done faster, or how Captain America shouldn't be able to get stopped by some normal guy. This will be frustrating to Sam and will build throughout the movie, and we get to put it on full display during Sam's encounter with Dr. Stern. During their conversation, Stern can reveal that he didn't take Sam into account during his calculations, saying something like, "With all the power I have, why would I need to worry about a Captain America with no serum?" This will be further emphasized when Sam just falls short of capturing him. From here, the movie can continue as normal. Sam talks to Bucky, Bucky tells him he doesn't need the serum, and Sam beats Red Hulk without it. Granted, we'll also cut out this scene because this should have sent Sam into the goddamn stratosphere. And also, maybe we could repurpose Joaquin a bit, maybe make him a bit more of a tech guy, so then by the end of the movie, Sam could use this tech to compensate for his lack of having a super soldier serum. Now, do I think it's stupid that Sam didn't take the serum back during Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Absolutely. Seriously, throughout all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and all of Brave New World, I have not heard a single rational argument on why he shouldn't. Sure, in the original Captain America, it said that the serum amplifies everything in a person.
Good becomes great. Bad becomes worse.
But what does that say about the character of Sam Wilson? That he thinks he won't be able to control himself if he takes it? You wanna know what I'd call that? Fear. Or a better known term, potential for character development. Now, do I think it's possible for the serum to make another appearance after seeing it be destroyed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Yes, and I wish it was in this movie, because if given a chance, Sam should take that shit faster than I take my insulin before having a piece of cake.
My crumbs make more sense than that.
But regardless, this point of not taking the serum and potential regret could have led to some great development for Sam's character. Instead, we get nothing but a bland, stagnant character whose only job is to have an occasional engaging fight scene. You know, if I could describe Captain America Brave New World in one word, it'd be forgettable. There's nothing special about this movie, no standout characters, impressive fights, or long-lasting effects on the universe. Besides finally talking about the f***-off big celestial in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and introduction of adamantium, which apparently is stronger than vibranium. Yeah, cause that's exactly what this world building needs. A mineral stronger than the current strongest mineral. God, if you ask me, I think that it's worse for a movie to be bland than horrifically bad. When you're bland, there's barely any discussion. Hell, I have 2 massive videos that I'm working on, but I knew I had very little to really say about this film, so I was able to slot this in. However, if something sucks, you remember it sucks. Whether you want to or not, you remember Captain Marvel, Thor Love and Thunder, and She-Hulk. But nobody remembers the Eternals, the Marvels, Echo, and I guarantee that in time, nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to remember Captain America Brave New World.